Hi, everybody, and welcome to Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, come in.
That was fun. That's because that'll be our new cadence for our intro as long as we're a guaranteed playoff team like we are now. All right. I'm sure the Discord, my Discord brethren love hearing me say that. Like they love my chants for our shutouts about 2 minutes into the game. Of course,
Where's
we've
Matt?
blown every single one.
Yes. I see Jim Johnson's here. What's up, brother? Performance art. We got one of our many Dan fans, Ketzel, who's here this time. My nerds. Yeah. I do say I was hoping to see a little decoy, Matt, and the hat is covering my face, just so you know.
Oh, is there something we need to talk about with decoy or?
For one reason. You know why? Because coming down the ramp tomorrow night, that's got to be Kane. Yeah.
Here, wait.
Big fella right there.
We'll go full screen on that one.
Woo!
There's Kane.
Woo! Hall of Famer. Yeah. It's going to be choke slamming some sharks tomorrow.
Choke Slam City. Is that a thing?
It is now. Yeah, the big day is upon us, Matt, and it doesn't. You know what this feels like? This signing. Matt, the hat's covering my face. I don't like it.
Oh, that hat.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if I can flip this. We'll do it in real. Oh wait, what if we did this? Oh, now I'm gone. Nobody's gonna like that.
There we go. That's what we're looking for.
Just nobody's gonna like that.
Yeah, Matt's should be heard and not seen. There we go.
Here, I'll just keep playing with it till we get it right.
Perfect.
There we go.
That's what
How's that?
Podcasting is all about, Charlie Brown. Jim Johnson saying we cannot take the Sharkies lightly. I know they got a big receipt game coming up for Zadina. Yeah. He wants to pepper one in on Uncle Huso, huh? I don't know if I'm predicting that. I am predicting a lot of pain for those Sharks. Because this Red Wing team is rolling. No, Dan B, don't you do it. Zadina coming home with a hat trick. I don't think so, sir. No. Not on this team. Not against this D. Not against this squad. We coming, baby. Woo! My God,
all right.
6 out of 7 games we've won now.
Yeah, but am I just gonna have to get rid of my cool?
Yeah,
Christmas?
get rid of that hat. It's just gonna
right.
block us. We'll
All
figure it out next time.
All right, let me discard changes. And we're back.
We're figuring that out. Ketzel asking, how pissed do you think ESPN was that Kane delayed his start to tomorrow? A part of me thinks that Yzerman did that on purpose. God bless him. Just to kind of stick it to him. But slide number 1 in beautiful red and white. Look at that shark logo. It looks a lot better in Red Wing red and white.
Doesn't it?
7.
But so does number 88, Patrick Kane.
Can I tell you my favorite thing about this game?
Yeah.
My favorite thing is that it reminds me a little bit of WWE signing CM Punk. Because, not just the Chicago connection, Matt, but because this Red Wing team has won 6 of 7 games. So they're not asking this guy to necessarily be like the cake. We're just asking him to be the frosting. And this team is already playing pretty well. And now we're just getting a boost. Much with WWE. It's not that they need Punk. It's a nice thing to have. He's frosting on the WWE cake. Kane, he's going to be a little frosting on that Red Wing cake.
How excited are you to have to deal with conversations on Twitter if we lose to the Sharks tomorrow, with it being Kane's first game?
It'll be hard to type because I'm going to be covered in frosting myself because I'm going to be pretty excited to watch this whole thing go down.
I mean, we talked about it last week. Like it was, it's been something. I think some of it was like tongue in cheek, where you were pushing for Kane, Mike, and I always landed on the this is never gonna happen. And then we came to this season. Kane was still a free agent. In early October, I started coming around. Mike, and here we are. It's happening. I was telling you, I was talking with somebody at work today, and they were asking me like, "What do you think?" And I hesitated before I answered because honestly, it was a little surreal that I had to answer like with a team we're already excited about. What does it feel like to have Patrick Kane in the lineup tomorrow? I was taken aback.
Yeah.
I didn't even know, like for a minute, I didn't even know what to say. I,
I mean, I wish I was there. And Jared, God damn it, saying Kane no points, Zadina hat trick, full monkey paw curl. Bad, Jared, bad.
Jared saying no, I didn't. Is in no, I wasn't coming around. Well, guys, it's on YouTube. There's video proof of me suggesting we bring in Patrick Kane to help this lineup out. So you guys,
Jared,
you do it. Guys,
Jared,
go help my
go to
numbers.
the tape. We got some receipts against Matt here. Jared, go to the tape for us.
No,
performance
you guys
art-
aren't working together on this. You're on my team this time because I I put content together. You motherfuckers.
Performance art saying adrenaline will do a lot for him the first couple of games. Performance art, that Red Wing team is going to be just bursting out of their flesh in that first period. That Little Caesars Arena is going to be rocking, man.
Jim
I wish I
Johnson
could
throwing
find a
out.
way to head out there.
Jim Johnson thrown out there. Sharks starting to score after that putrid start. Yeah, now the Sharks, if you lose to the Sharks, and you're I don't know. If you have any semblance or if there's any terror, like now you don't have to like panic. You don't have to hit the panic button and fire your GMs and your coaches because now the Sharks are starting to come around. They're at least it's respectable, right? Like they still haven't figured anything out on defense, but there's some
They're
goals going
definitely
in.
playing a team that is kind of trends well for what they do.
Yeah,
Which is a flurry of offense for 2 periods, and then sitting on your hands for the whole third period and hoping that the other team doesn't shoot the puck at the net. God, I hate that strategy. We had to talk about that at least for a minute.
yeah. I will say this. I do expect. I asked the question. How are you ready for those trolls if we lose and making the argument that Kane wasn't the answer? We don't. By the way, I don't think like Kane is like no. Now we're a Stanley Cup contender. I think this is another awesome piece. But anyway, let me actually finish my thought for once. I do think the Red Wings have a pretty good track record of starting out pretty good against shit teams. But like you just mentioned, Mike, we don't want another third period. And I believe the Sharks just had a third period comeback. Was that last night or 2 nights ago? So they have it in them. And the Red Wings definitely have it in them based on the last couple of games to give one up. So I think for me, I think we will start out hot and it'll just be that thing where I don't want to be holding on like I was last night. That wasn't fun.
Aren't the Sharks on the short list, the teams that beat Boston?
Oh, I don't know their record off the top of my head, but guys, go ahead, look it up.
A name we don't get to hear a lot from, Irvine Poker. Hardly know her, right? Claiming Zadina an assist and Giovanni Smith with the game winner. I probably would not put money on that one. I do like Chewy's idea a little bit better. I think Chewy said, I'm not a betting man, but I bet Kane gets a goal or two first game on FanDuel would be a good bet to make. Chewy, I do agree with that. And then Dan B so far with joke of the episode.
Except use DraftKings, guys, not FanDuel. Remember? Use promo code THPN.
Dan B with joke of the episode so far. For one night only, troll the Hawks fans by playing Chelsea Dagger when Kane scores. I also, Dan B wouldn't mind if they played Kane's old haunting organ theme from WWF. especially since they like Ric Flairing and Stone Colding so much. Let's get a little Kane scary organ music out there. That'd be cool.
Yeah, wouldn't that be awesome if they could cue that one up?
Yeah, and
Oh, it
Irvine,
was
we
the
know you're
Islanders.
joking. You're good, bud.
You know what? It was the Islanders that the Sharks came back against, and I just made that comment. Like, maybe you don't need to hit the panic button and fire your whole team, but Islanders fans were chanting "Fire Lambert" last night at the game. That's always fun. But yeah, they can score goals, so you got to be more responsible defensively. Bruins beat the Sharks 3-0. Thanks. Take that, Sharks. You're nothing. So yeah, I guess the Sharks beat the Islanders, but I mean, the Islanders have a lot of problems. Anyway, this isn't a Sharks podcast. I'm calling it. We're gonna make this look easy tomorrow. I'm excited to watch this game. I think we've had too many. We've had too many nail biters in a row. I think it's time for us to relax. It'll be first, second, and then third period domination. I'm gonna do it, Mike.
You
Game
ordered
props.
Kane
I'm going to DraftKings. I'm gonna put money down. Patrick Kane. He's getting a goal tomorrow.
What I was hoping is you're gonna order one of those alternative Detroit Red Wing jerseys, the red and the black with Kane, so it still kind of looks like a Blackhawk jersey. But one can dream.
Well, speaking of Patrick Kane and his new jerseys, I asked, Chat GPT. They have DALL-E is their image generator. I said, Patrick Kane winning the Stanley Cup with the Detroit Red Wings. So, guys, we don't even need to wait. We don't need to wait till late May or early June. I've got your image right here.
What is
ignore
that name on the back of the jersey?
Ignore
Haggis?
On the left side. I think it's Hagne, and on the right side it's Haggies. I have no idea what those letters are on the left side picture. If you guys are listening to the podcast, you haven't ventured over to YouTube. You're missing a doozy here. This is also on the left hand side. I'm pretty sure we're looking at Detroit Red Wings team from like the 70s or the 60s. Look at those haircuts on Patrick Kane's teammates. Those are insane. Right side looks a little more current. Stanley Cup got a Red Wings facelift. Is that red? I'm colorblind, guys. You'd have to help me out on that one.
I think every year they repaint it depending on who wins the championship. So kind of a goldish, reddish cup there with some rings on it. It's just nice, Matt, that we won't have to ask ChatGPT to do that for much longer because we'll be able to get a real one here shortly with the team that we are assembling.
No, but good effort from ChatGPT here. Performance art. Okay, Matt, you sound like a lead fan now. Let's pump the brakes a little. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. I do like calling you Matt Lead fan. I like that.
Yeah, somebody help me out. What's a lead fan? And have I really been that excited?
Ketzel dropping the odds for us.
Oh,
hey, we got a 5% chance to win the cup. Oh, Leaf fan. Oh, sorry.
Leaf fan. Got it.
Yeah, Ketzel. I don't know if you were here like the first week when they talked about not even Stanley Cup odds. I think it was just playoff odds, and the Red Wings were at like 0. Obviously, those numbers have taken a bit of a turn, especially with the streak that we're on.
Yeah, I pulled them up. We were shared earlier in the Discord. I highly recommend you guys check out our Discord. Let's have some fun together. But yeah, the Wings 82% chance to make the playoffs now. I mean, if you go around this list, that's more than the Leafs. Surprisingly, and I asked this question in Discord. I was like, what is the calculation that came with 80? It came up with 82% for the Wings, but 81.8% for the Bruins. Because that, by all accounts, the Bruins are better possession-wise. We're just better shooting percentage-wise. That's the only thing we have on the Bruins. But they're like, that's it, 0.2%.
That's most of NHL games.
You know what? Good point. If that continues, good point. Most of hockey, Mike, is putting a puck in the back of the net. So you did get me there. It's not about who has the puck the most. It's about who puts the puck in the back of the net the most. which we are at the top of the league there with Vancouver. It's this is fun. This is an offensive team. We're going to talk later about solving some of their, bringing guys that you would call like, oh yeah, they're on our team for defense. Oh great! We'll put him up against the best guys in the league. That's and then there's no excuses for his poor play because he plays against the best guys in the league. You guys know who I'm talking about. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But 82%. Okay, I mean the question here for you guys too in the chat. For me as a Leaf fan, thanks for performance art. I don't even know what did I say about the Leafs.
What was the publication for this color wheel, Matt?
Man, does it matter?
I was just curious about what I can trust anymore.
This was Money Puck. It's the Money Puck emotion wheel.
Oh yeah, we talk Money Puck all the time.
Money Puck is the playoff odds that everybody posts on Twitter.
Okay.
But I still will say I think there's some flaws in their calculation. Just based on, sure, we beat the Bruins 100%. That works. But by all accounts, they've done so much better than us on 5-on-5, on special teams. It's weird. That's where my arguments come. All right, let's not talk about how the Bruins are better than us on paper or by the analytics. I guess on paper we're better, right? Because we won. What I wanted to talk about with this 82% is do we believe it? Like, it's fun to put this number up, and I don't mean 82%. Do I believe it over the 81.8% over the Bruins? Do we believe this number here? Because this what we've seen is a team that I think is good enough to make it to the playoffs. I've said that multiple times. I don't think there's any question about that. But are we good on this? We think we've seen enough? Like we're good to go? And like going forward, we are just looking for improvements on the play. We know we're going to beat teams like the Sharks. And now we're all in on games like coming up against the Carolina Hurricanes and the Dallas Stars to just be measuring sticks. Like, how good are we against the best? And that's our mode, right? We turn off prospect mode. We turn off everything because we are focused on the playoffs now. So everybody bought in? We're second in the division right now. Everybody around us is struggling. Even Boston has found some ways to struggle recently. New York lost to frickin' Senators. What was it? 6-2 the other night? Gosh, it was 6-2. Good gravy. Everybody's struggling around us, so nobody's perfect, right? I think that's an important point to come to right now. But have we just banked enough?
We can look at like a whole month of activity where we had our worst stretch of the season, where we lost 4-1. The game we attended, 4-1 against Winnipeg. We got bombed by Boston, 4-1. Then we squeaked by in overtime versus the Islanders, 4-3. And we lost Florida 2-0. Since that point, defeated Boston 5-4. We had the tough loss against the Rangers there, 5-3. Remember, we had that storming comeback in the third period. That was fun. 3-2 to overtime. We lost to Montreal. Then we beat Columbus 5-4. Lost to Ottawa in overtime, 5-4. We had the tight game in Toronto, 3-2. And then bam, Red Wings win 4-0. Then 5-2, 4-1. Then we lost the tight one to New York, 3-2. Then 5-1, 5-4, 5-3. I think we talked about it the past couple seasons, or at least, if you want, I can rephrase it. I would not shut up about it. Where it feels like the team that scores more goals usually wins, and so this team's priority right now, just kind of peppered in goals. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these last 7 games, 4+ goals. I don't know how sustainable that really is, man, but it feels like there's a lot of confidence on what that first and second line can do. And yeah, there's some depth, right? I know our local broadcasters are really, really good about talking about the strength of our scoring from our defense. Um, a lot of that coming from Cider, a lot of that coming from Gostis Bear. Um, but yeah, I mean, now with Kane, it almost feels inconceivable to think of this team, having a stretch where they're, only scoring 1 or 2 goals. Like it would feel weird. Like, okay, they must have had like 4 or 5 injuries in their, top 9, something like that. Because it does feel like this is a team that can score goals. And I mean, we've seen them so far this season score them in a number of situations. Whether it's these past couple games where they loaded up in the first and second period and then kind of fell asleep in the third. But we've also seen them come roaring back in the third. So it just feels like they have a lot of confidence with each other. It just feels like the chemistry is really cooking out there. And again, I'm probably going to mention it at least 3 more times in this episode, but it's just really inspiring as a fan to feel like, okay, I do want to watch these games because it already feels like they can have sustained success without adding the top U.S. born player that they could have right now in Patrick Kane. So it's really tough to not be optimistic, like really optimistic. And I obviously I think you and I are in lockstep that 82 percentage seems high as far as our playoff likelihood. Maybe because we're both a little more conservative and we've kind of been jaded over the past couple years, but it doesn't feel the likelihood of it happening. That number I can't agree with, but I would be pretty surprised if somehow we didn't get in.
I'll say so. I pulled up our schedule too, like the next 4 games. Sharks is something where I kind of feel like that should happen. Like there isn't a question of like, is that do you need to win that to keep the conversation going? I really would like to see us just stomp the Senators while they're on like a 6-4 run right now. But it's not letting that game against the Stars get away from you. Like something similar to that Rangers game. You want to be in it at the end, and eventually those are going to start falling your way. And we'll have a little extra offense compared to what we had going against the Rangers. I wouldn't say offense has been our problem recently, but I assume we're going to need a ton of goals to keep up with Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
So it is something for me where I think the holes on this team are obvious. Where we need to like make some fixes. I like the addition of Patrick Kane. I think it makes a lot of sense for the Red Wings. And right now, with everybody's confidence surrounding his conversation about, I'm going to be at a 90-point pace. Sure, that's we'll see. But also, I do like the confidence. Like, there's nothing about Patrick Kane in his conversations right now where he's being timid. Like we get to hold him accountable now. He's put out there like I'm going to do that for you guys. I'm feeling really good. Feel way better than I did last year. I feel like I did a couple years ago when I was hitting 90 points. That's insane. If we get that pace added to this team, you've got 2 legit scoring threats. Like not just like right now we have this balanced scoring. I mean, teams won't be able to decide who their top pairing is going to go against. The Larkin Lucas Raymond is like, I mean, Raymond obviously ton of skill. You watch his game; he's a whirling dervish out there. He is constantly fighting for the puck against the boards, and he's making space. That guy is insane. He's a junkyard dog on a spinning top. Like it's amazing. And adding the type of game that Dylan Larkin brings, and oh my god, like the honesty. I don't know if you guys caught the post game with Emily Kaplan and how he just called himself out for giving up the goal, basically turning the puck over for the Sabres to score. That's, man, they've got a real leader. They've got some real scoring up and down this roster. I mean, it's so tough to look at this from the forward perspective and not have the confidence that this team will be able to put up enough goals to keep it running. But I think there's a clear problem.
Yeah, I would say too, because I think it was Jared was saying it's a little concerning that, you know, this team has to score a lot of goals to win. You want to be able to have games where you can, you know, win defensively and, you know, dominate, you know, goaltending wise. I agree, but I think I'd have more concern if this was just like carried by a, you know, a DeBrincat hot streak. But I mean, you know, he's definitely cooled off since that big burst to start the year. And I mean, we're getting big contributions from guys like Robbie Fabry. You know, JT Compher, you know, being in the top 1, 2, 3 in Red Wing points. And I can't say enough about, you know, like Goss Despair. Compher, sorry, I had it wrong. He's all the way down to 4th. But just seeing the diversity in the lineup, you know, we got 11 guys with double-digit points. And I you know, I think it was a few of our people either on Discord or was it on Twitter, just mentioning like, damn, you know, Fabry's got 8 goals in 12 games. If this poor guy could just stay healthy, you know, finally, and you know what you and I have trumpeted for years, and just getting him in a role that suits him, which it looks like he can be. Just be healthy, be in your role, man. That's scoring depth right there. Yeah, if it's something where you could be going down to your third line and kind of getting that kind of production, I'm not too worried about the formula, to be honest. If it was just the superstars carrying the team, you know, like if DeBrincat gets hurt, then what do you do? Or God forbid Larkin gets hurt, what do you do? It doesn't feel quite as bleak as it would have in past seasons.
Yeah. It's one of those things too, like the way that you watch this team play, and it seems like you want to put in the description of this team is, and I know it's cliche, but it's like the never give up. But the never give up, that's putting pucks in the back of the net, right? Like that's sometimes it's laying out and taking a block to your teeth, but never give up is you're down by a few goals and you've got to catch up. And this team has that ability in the third period to do that. Yeah, you're not never give up and you're up by 1 and you've got to take one to the teeth. That's just some stout defense. That's some good coaching right there. But this mentality that a guy like Dylan Larkin is leading this team with, and you see him, you know, he's putting the icing on the cake last night too. He carries it with like every stride in those skates, and I just feel so bad that you know, he saw it, we all saw it. He's the one who turned the puck over, but man, for a guy who deserves like a break, but who also deserves to not have those types of things happen to him, because he's like he's going at 1,000 miles an hour every time I see him on the ice. It seems like he's getting injured every other game, but is he gone from the game? Nope. Is he still serviceable when he comes back? Yep. He doesn't stop fighting. But damn. Yeah. So like just that little ounce of bad luck and it gets attached to Larkin. But even then, I know this is a separate conversation. Probably the best guy to get that bad luck attached to, because he just doesn't quit. He never stops. He's seen how bad this can get. Like, think about how much Larkin wants to be on the ice right now. Like, if anybody needs the extra bad luck tossed on top of him, and I obviously talking strictly hockey, it's still Larkin, because he can take it. And I mean this, and it's as silly as it's going to sound, but he really can take it, and he's out there leading this team. And I don't know if you guys caught it the other night when Jake Wallman scored the overtime winner, and I think it was Trevor Thompson after the game. And Wallman caught himself. Like, go watch the replay of that post-game interview. Wallman like did that little hiccup where you're like, "Ugh." Like they feel something for Larkin right now, and obviously there are personal things going through Larkin's life that most people never deal with. They never even come close to dealing with. I mean, my God, the only thing I can compare it to is fictional characters, right? Like the tragedy. And I truly mean that. Like it really is. He's just surrounded by tragedy, but he's out there playing his nuts off, maybe to escape the tragedy, but holy shit, is this guy a leader for this team? And again, I think I'm just going to summarize this by like, right now, this team is built to not give up. They're built to score goals, and they have the right leadership. I feel like they have the right build right now to keep it going. And they've done something crazy and got, I don't know, maybe lucky. Maybe it's Steve Yzerman and what he's built and his conversations with Patrick Kane. So maybe it's not luck. Maybe it's earned. But now they've done something crazy here where the second line could really be dangerous and take off and maybe not solve the right way some of the problems, but they'll have a new way to solve any problems they see on the ice with this offense. We have to see him play first. We have to see Patrick Kane.
I did want to touch on another player too who you talked about, like the offense kind of getting going a little bit. We've been talking about guys on hot streaks, and definitely a dude who's been on a cold streak and we thought was gonna, because his injuries seemed to really deflate the entire team last year against Ottawa was Rasmussen.
Yeah.
Ketzel thrown in. Let's go, Ras, finally getting a goal. And it kind of feels like he's gotten a little spark because I saw him playing with Fabry a little bit. So, god dang, if that guy starts rolling, it's almost too much. It's almost too much. But yeah, some folks here touching on, Larkin kind of getting hit in the back, and the human body's only going to be able to take so many hits. I know a lot of our analogies and cliches come from wrestling, and there's only so many bumps in a human, but yeah, as far as like touching on guys, being self-aware, Larkin definitely saying, I got the hit in the back, but I should have been more aware being on the boards. But yeah, to kind of, pivot away from, much love to Larkin in the family. Matt giving us a little positivity here, giving us the Ras highlight and
the relief on his face, man.
And yeah, that had to feel really good. That had to feel really good.
Yeah, that's something where when you look up and down this lineup, and like we did it earlier in the season, we were like, where if the scoring stops from here, where does the rest of the scoring come from?
Yeah,
that's something where you could absolutely see Ras turning it back on after this goal. So there's those opportunities. There's things where certainly, like I had this slide up a second ago, and I'm calling out our save percentage could do some work, but this shooting percentage is insane right now at 12.6 and really giving us a PDO score of what are we at? Like 105 with the 903, or I'm sorry, it's just 102. 903 903 plus 12.6. Yeah. So that was rough. I forgot you're not supposed to put the 900. It's not 900 plus 126. It's 90 plus 12. So anyway, 102. We're still really close to that little bubble. Like the bubble is like for PDO, like you want to be within that 10 like 102. So we're outside of it. We want to be at like 102 to 98. Even like 101, I think like below 102 is where you want to be, and above 98. Above 98 because you don't want to be. If you're below 98, you're just a suck ass. You're probably failing in the league right now, not doing great. Above the 102 means that things are going to come back. Your goaltending could get worse. Your shooting percentage will get worse. For the Wings, if you had to pick between the two, you kind of hope it's the shooting percentage comes back just a smidge. If you had to pick one. So like, I do want to highlight like that is some reality that we might have to deal with soon, but there's enough balance on this team with what we've seen.
Let's do this, right? Up. Like we're outperforming some of our deep cut analytics. Right. And that's without having seen the greatest American goal scorer of all time on our team, right? And this team, every year, it feels like Yzerman has been like, all right, well, I'll give you a test. And if you guys don't screw this up, we'll be buyers. And then they've screwed it up, screwed it up, screwed it up. So if we're still outperforming, where the projection is, and then we're adding Kane onto our second line, it's a situation where you can definitely be a buyer. And based on the comments that come flooding in every episode, how much the Red Wings ranters are excited to potentially be that team that picks guys up at the trade deadline. This year, there's smoke for Stamkos. All right, we won't talk a lot about that, but we would probably prioritize getting a defenseman anyway. But yeah, I mean those moves become possible when you're up in the standings. So it's
don't fall for the fridge hockey in night Canada. Make sure you're reading Frege Hockey Night in Canada, because there was a troll that was out there copying Frege. He's had that account that it's one letter off. But he was the one I think tweeted out that Stamkos was available from Tampa.
No,
and,
we know
he's
he's not actually available. We know he's not actually available, but just contract wise, Tampa wise, not doing.
Yeah.
Standings.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But yeah, you really threw me off with that, Matt. We know there's fake accounts out there. I'm just saying, like it's okay. I appreciate your taking a step back and saying this could come back down to earth a little bit, right? But if we can at least get ourselves in a good enough position, sustain it for the next month or two, that's where you can actually buy. And I think it might have been Ketzel again saying, yeah, it looks like a playoff squad, but maybe we could be that much closer with one or two more pieces to actually making some noise and, winning a round or two instead of just getting a participation award.
Yeah, one of the conversations that's going on right now, Jared started it. We all shit on Sherratt, but he is sitting at a +8.
Most of the shitting is done by Matt and I. We
give him
a lot of. We
throws out there. Who's we? Well, Matt more so. Lol. Guys, I don't know how many times I've got to teach you. And I'm going to say teach you. Just ignore the plus minus. You don't need to worry about that.
Big stat.
This is one of those.
You know what, guys? Stop paying attention to goals and assists. Look at the expected goals.
A lot of guys on this team are going to have a good plus minus. And don't forget, we have this insane +20 right now. A lot of guys are going to have a good plus minus on this team. Don't worry about that. How many goddamn times, and this is Dan B actually nailed it, that Sherratt's getting deployed better this year. Part of that is more depth, but part of that is frustrating to me that we still have to have a guy who we can't figure out, like, okay, who's our bottom two pairings? Well, technically, based on what they've turned in to the NHL as a product, not great. All four. I mean, I guess we could say 5. Goss to spare, he's our power play killer. He's our get him out there on offense. I guess we're talking about. Gotta have this conversation about Oli Mata, Ben Sherratt, Jeff Petrie. I just, guys, if we're really Justin Hall, if we're really gonna sit here and we want to have the conversation, is it possible to upgrade Ben Sherratt? I don't know what you guys want to do.
Griffith's highlights, right? Let's watch Simon Edvinsson. Whee! He's had some really fun plays. Is Sherratt the most egregiously bad defenseman that we have this year? I don't know. Petrie he's had some rough games. So I mean, there's definitely some horses. There's some horses jockeying for worst Red Wing defenseman.
The arguments that are just blowing my mind right now, because we're going to focus on Andrew Kopp in a second.
Oh no!
But how many
Man, we were having such fun. Do
how
we have
many
to talk
people
about
want to
how?
have the conversation about people that are on this team, players that are on this team to be focused on defense, and our defensive possession numbers are fucking abysmal. And the conversations people want to have to defend the Andrew Cops and the Ben Sherratts. We just talked about we can score goals. We know that part. Guys, if this is going to be a well-rounded team, we have a balanced set of forwards. We have a balanced team for offense.
Well,
How many goddamn times do I have to watch Ben Sherratt,
I
who is
almost
an
feel like
NHLer, get a
before.
late third period penalty? Can we just talk about that? We could get
Well,
away from what the possession statistics are. What
I
his
mean,
turnovers look like?
as
It's
far as
him and
putting
Jeff.
guys in, in a space to succeed, lest we forget that we're very, very excited about Patrick. I don't like defense at all, Kane. So might be a little tougher for our defense, but I guess we're gonna offset it by more 4 goals a game from our offense.
That is a scary part of Patrick Kane coming aboard.
We also do love Gostisbehere, who is not the greatest defensive defenseman of all time.
Right. But it's one of those things that we discussed a week ago. You can't have this team full of players that need to be deployed in an offensive way, right? Like we looked at when these guys are deployed. There's only a couple, Sider and Wallman, that are consistently deployed or deployed the most on the defensive side. You can't do that. Sure, you can do it and get to this point, but you guys, you don't see the problem there. And that's why we talked about it a couple weeks ago. And I still see in the comments here, there's a lot of pushback. But guys, we feel good because we're winning. Don't forget what we've seen turned in from Ben Sherratt. You can deploy him to protect your team. Certainly Lalone deserves, I don't know, what, the Nobel Prize for that?
Yeah.
But there is not enough good coming out of the bottom 4 of the whoever we're putting out there defensively. There's not enough good coming out of that bottom 4 for us to not have conversations about upgrading it. You guys are just blowing my mind.
Dan Bergeron says Sherratt for the heart. Yeah.
That's fine. You guys can say that.
I think part of the judgment too from Red Wings Rant is his contract number. We'd probably be a little bit more lenient if he wasn't like our most highly paid defenseman. I mean, that's probably going to only last another off season when Sider gets his bag of cash. But I'm just
true, and I mean the cap's going up to 87.7. I think. I don't even really care about the cap number. Like, he had years where he was an overrated defenseman with Montreal, and when put into situations where you absolutely needed him to play defense, he'd fuck it up. He fucks it up for us every. I don't know how you guys are not seeing this in these third periods.
I'm just saying, in the third period, he was.
Like he's so gritty. Oh.
Was it the third goal that he was an escort for? And then the next time down the ice, he took a penalty. It was like back-to-back poop. And I was like, oh, man. Please stop justifying all my complaining. But, yeah, we don't want to make this a Sherratt bashing show.
No, actually, I'm actually curious where that even... we weren't even going to talk about Sherratt, but I forget who brought that up in the comments. But, I mean, I guess, you guys want to see me get hot.
Scroll back.
You want to see me get hot? You can see me get hot. It's fine.
But where are we at on the slides here?
Oh, you know what? I actually do have a slide that's going to take a shit on Sherratt. Where is it?
Damn it. Well, before you do that, Matt, can you show us something nice?
Oh, our potential replacement for Ben Sherratt, who has much better possession numbers than Philip Broberg. What did you want to talk about? We had some other things I wanted to talk about.
No, I need to break up the anger a little bit. And can you show the beautiful new bobblehead that will be dropped by Little Caesars Arena here shortly?
Yeah. Best bobblehead ever is the gritty Jake Wallman bobblehead? Question mark.
Easily the best Red Wings bobblehead ever. Easily. as far as the like greatest bobbleheads of all time, I'd probably need some commenters to weigh in.
I did at work. They were giving away Hutch bobbleheads, so it was my first time seeing that. And it's his dance with the legs, so he's like doing like the kick up. I'm wondering, that was announced first, so I will say at first I was like, wow, this is like so smart by a marketing team to think of doing the gritty. But I do feel like this is a bit of a reaction to the Hutch bobblehead, so it gets an A minus. I have to give the nod to the Hutch bobblehead because this is the best bobblehead in hockey. But clearly, Detroit sports, the winner was the Detroit Lions and Hutch because they did it first. So you got to give them all. You got to give them everything, all the props.
I do think Jim Johnson. We got to click on his point real quick because Wallman did almost do his best to blow that game yesterday, taking a horrible penalty under 2 minutes left. Could have been incredibly costly, and we would have been really sour today with a lot of grapes. But you know, as angry as I could be, we won. Even with his efforts there with that penalty. And look at this great bobblehead. But Jim, you are 100% on the nose.
Jim, you are 100% right. But tell me Sherratt doesn't do the same thing and also not help us on offense.
And not give us one of the great sellies in NHL history.
I don't understand what you guys are so geeked about with Ben Sherratt, especially talking about like an on-ice statistic of a plus minus.
Well, I think you
can do jack shit and get a plus. I don't know what's going on here with this plus minus conversation.
We sell him as if he's, Larry Murphy today. You know what I mean? Like, he's not that awful. He's just, we just wanted more for him, I guess.
You guys are. I mean,
it's big question.
Blowing my mind right now.
Clump sauce. What do you guys think? Too late to drink? No. Clump
Never
sauce.
Too late.
You are obligated to tell us what you will be drinking on your next comment.
Jared Sherratt has 7 points. What does that have to do with anything?
He's almost got a point for every number on his jersey.
I mean, look, we could do this. Ben Sherratt, he's got 2 goals, 5 assists. He's a +8. I'm gonna skip the 18 penalty minutes. 2 even strength goals, 5 even strength assists. He's got 34 shots, a 5.9 shot percentage. There, we did it. We ran through. I don't know what it is. You guys like turnovers? You like no production? It's fine.
I like to think that in the moments where Jared is not sending us funny jokes, he is on a sewing machine putting together a gigantic red and white Sherratt jersey to hang up in the rafters at Little Caesars Arena.
You guys are insane right now.
Dan Bergeron, give him a raise for $5 million. I mean, the cap's going up, Steve.
Where to place that money, right? Let's make sure.
Yeah, I'm a +7 this year. I've already got multiple goals. I think you know what to do.
Let's do this so I can calm down. We'll be right back. Bet the action on ice with DraftKings Sportsbook. Guys, we know Patrick Kane is going to be wearing the winged wheel against the San Jose Sharks on Thursday, December 7th. Right now, Red Wings are at a -298 on the money line and under 6.5, -102, over 6.5, -118. I don't know. Sharks give up a lot of goals. Red Wings aren't necessarily super responsible defensively. Just throwing that out there. Download the app now and use code THPN. New customers can get $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on hockey. That's code THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. The crown is yours. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY. In Connecticut, help is available for problems gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, 21 plus. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/hockey for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. NHL and the NHL Shield are registered trademarks of the National Hockey League. Copyright NHL 2023. All rights reserved.
All right. Oh, no. Man.
And we're back.
Brad Gilbert, I had the same question. I think I'm going to ask Matt to start hitting like triple speed on there. It's so long. All right. Let's look at this poor Sherratt versus Wallman. Well, that's not fair. Matt, show Sherratt versus a rotting corpse in a grave.
All right.
Okay. We'll crunch
Rotting
the numbers
corpse.
again. Rotting corpse. Not good.
All right. So the rotting corpse technically is dead center in the middle of the league.
Less of a negative than Ben Sherratt.
So the rotting corpse isn't out there throwing the puck out, just willy-nilly. Like, he's laying on the ice. Sure, you're down a guy, but we've had some success on the penalty kill.
Let's move on from Sherratt, man. We've sandbagged him for about 10 minutes there.
What else we got today? We did touch on it for a second. The 87.7 confirmed from the Batman. Na. Batman. Yeah, I mean, right? Kuna Matata next year. Mo Sider, Lucas Raymond. Give him top dollar.
Yeah, that was a short-lived faction in WWE. Bring back top dollar.
Yeah, that's where I was going with that. So that projected cap space for next year, you want to add 200,000 to that, ladies and gentlemen, for what Cap Friendly has. Their projected salary cap for next year is off by 200,000 for some reason. So that's 30 million, 267, 360. All right. So I'm looking at the Cap Friendly page right now.
Okay.
David Perron coming off the books. Daniel Sprong, Michael Rasmussen, Christian Fisher. We could throw. I'm just gonna say Joe Veleno because Lucas Raymond is on this list, of course. We just talked. We're signing him, no problem. Goss Despair, and then we're signing Moritz Seider, no problem. James Reimer off the books. Got Alex Lyon, Billy Husso coming in next season. So let's say you give them 15 mil between Seider and Lucas. Got another 15 mil. Fill out and replace potentially. I mean, maybe you bring back Sprong. Got to replace Perron. You have some guys. Don't forget getting some rookie contracts coming in. Some ELCs could hit this team next year. Some of these replacements. It's just plenty of room, plenty of flexibility. This is just good news for the Detroit Red Wings. But
if only there was a contract worth like 4.75 that we could move, that would really open things up for us. You guys,
I don't think I ordered
fire
these
up the Cap
correctly.
Friendly. See if you can find any contracts. Not quite, $4.5 million, not quite $5 million, but like right in that 4.75 range. Somebody a little, replaceable that we could maybe make a move with. Throw in some prospects and draft picks. Just improve the overall quality of the team. Just see if you can find any 4.75 deals.
It's so funny. This should have been a day of celebration, and I was trying to find ways to upgrade this team, but you guys had to defend the guys who were already on the team.
God damn it, Jared.
Can anybody have a conversation of like who's going to replace, who's Patrick Kane going to replace without throwing a big fit? Like, people seem to get really upset about that. It's like, well, you're putting a winger on the ice. There's plenty of options in that bottom six. Somebody's got to go, and people are still finding ways to be upset about it. Prashant Dyer. He's probably been watching a lot of Red Wings Rant. Something worth talking about tomorrow is this is him tweeting about his own podcast, I believe. Is it worth considering an Andrew Kopp buyout this offseason if his play doesn't pick up substantially? Would free up an additional $4.4 million. Cider Raymond needing new deals. Of course, Prashant would continue the conversation today and talk about, well, it wasn't just Cider and Raymond. He's making the point too. We might need some extra space, Mike, to fit in, Elias Pettersson, William Nylander. We're gonna need to find some extra cash there. Mike, I don't know why Prashant didn't just hop in my DMs and say, you want to meet up somewhere, because this really stole my heart. He didn't have to go public with this. He goes on to share quite a few. I don't know, not great. Little bits of statistics here. We're talking on the left-hand side here, guys. And this was Prashant's argument for maybe Andrew Kopp isn't the I don't know, superhero you guys all make him out to be. Let's see. This is the entire league expected goals above replacement from 22 to 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 guys are worse than Andrew Kopp, according to Evolving Hockey.
Not good.
Prashant Dyer. With Kopp on the PK has given up significantly higher quality chances against compared to without him. He does add, this is fair, although a fair bit of this is due to matching up against the top power play unit. My rebuttal to that, everybody needs to face the top power play unit of their opposing team. You don't need to be absolute dog shit. You don't need to turn in numbers like this. Okay, he's not absolute dog shit. I'm sorry. I'm just getting angry because you guys got me all riled up about Sherratt. But I mean, there's only 5 guys, according to Evolving Hockey, that performed worse than Andrew Kopp from possession and production. I mean, this is top to bottom. That's what's being calculated here. I did point out too, just for the sake. Oh, actually, this wasn't even supposed to be a part of it. Patrick Kane is also on this list, so some issues here to worry about.
Well,
I just want to call that out because I am excited for Kane.
If you add a couple years right into these stats, that includes Kane working like was it 2016 Undertaker with 2 bones grinding against each other and his legs couldn't move.
Yeah.
For Kopp, he did have core surgery, so I guess we have to factor that in a little bit. But
I don't know, Mike. I think we've talked about it in the past. I don't think core surgery stops your body from aging. I know we've done research on what exactly goes into core surgery. I don't think it stops the never-ending.
I know we've been combing medical journals to see if you can stop aging, which hasn't happened. But we'll keep reading. Oh, there's some Red Wing alumni in here. Shout out to Luke Glendening. I like that.
Dan B. He hasn't been playing with exactly Hall of Fame wingers the past 2 years, in all honesty. Dan, that is a great point. But these statistics do try their best to weigh that into the calculation. This isn't just the straight up expected goals. This is the expected goals above replacement. So bringing in somebody else to do the job. Not doing super great. Dan throws in there. Some people will never get it. Kopp is a winner. Does everything it takes to win. He is a beast. Guys, you guys know, like, there's other players in the NHL that like play defense, right? He does have some feistiness to him on the boards, and I do appreciate that. And I'll clip it out. We clipped it out the other day for good old Kopp. I almost said Ben Sherratt.
I would want to make this concede that this list does include guys with obvious boo-boos in the past couple of years, and they've been playing hurt. So yes, I wish Kopp was better. I wish that he was playing at the contract that we wanted, or he played up to the number that we're paying him. I just wonder, gosh dang, he's really in a thankless spot and we just want you to go out and be the not fun part of hockey, which is the not scoring, and you're only going to go against the other team's best scoring players. And on offense, you got to play with, mostly jabronis last year when you were hurt, and this year we're going to put you on maybe the third line or something. So I don't know if maybe we just need more of a sample size, because again, it's hard to even count last year. More of a sample size with, like we talked about Fabry having being in a spot that sets him up for success. So Kopp was we're not setting him up for success. We're setting him up for, dude, everyone's going to hate you because your whole job is to be on the penalty kill. And we know our defensive core is not that great. So it's just kind of one kind of feeding the other. It's that, what is it? Ouroboros, the snake eating itself.
Yeah.
So if we don't have like lights out defensemen, and you have Kopp out there who, for the majority, I'll say a large chunk of this sample size, was playing, hurt or recovering from injury, it's tough to completely annihilate him. Now, I mean, to be in the 1 percentile is pretty difficult to do. So not like, worse than half the league. Like to be, worse than 99% of the league. It's pretty rough. But I'm still willing to buckle down and give this guy, a little bit of time. He has had a few eyeball test games, where he's had some turnovers that led to scoring chances. So I guess I'm still willing to kind of sit tight, which is easier to do when we're winning, and the other lines are scoring goals.
Yeah, it's not a problem you need to solve right now. To come back to my opinion, I'm not saying you're saying it's a problem. It's something for me where it's tough for me to see like what's going right here, because I get that you guys can appreciate a guy that plays hard against the boards, but I challenge you to find anybody on this team that is not playing hard on the boards and bringing multiple facets to the game. And to call out a guy who is defense first, and that's the job. I think we also called out one of our biggest flaws on this team is our defense, and I don't know how one guy can't solve all the problems, but the other teams have, or I'm sorry, the other lines, when he's not on the ice, they have better possession numbers. And Jared throws out there, he was, where is it? Wasn't brought in to score. If anybody has said that, by all means, I take it back. I do not expect him to score. But if you are asking him to play defense, it's not perfect. And I think this is something for me. Go ahead.
No, that was Dan. One of our Dans was saying he's paid to shut down the other team. So I think all of this, what it really comes down to is I think we can all agree that Kopp has not quite performed up to his contract. He's not performed up to the role that we wanted. So with Prashanth, publishing this piece, on Twitter, saying that, you can kind of justify letting this guy go if he's not quite, living up to the role, not living up to the contract. And if this Red Wings team is like, whoops, we're kind of competitive and on the verge of something here. It's a percentage of our cap sheet dedicated to, a guy trying to figure it out. And like Matt said, he's not getting any younger, and he does have 1, 2, 3. Woo! Lest we forget, he's getting paid more than Comfer. He's our third highest paid player, and he's arguably, our second or worst player. So I mean, that's just where you kind of toy with this idea of, hey, we want to kind of be active in free agency, we want to be active in trades. This is a team that could start to buy. This is the kind of contract that could really make you, be limited in what your options are, as far as, movement goes. I mean, good luck trying to find somebody who's going to, pick up this kind of deal. because you're not just picking up the rest of this season, you'd be picking up 24, 25, 25, 26, 26, 27. So as far as like, making a target to improve this team, it might be letting this guy go. I don't know if I lost Matt on that one, but we did have a few comments come in too. People we don't hear from very often. Brad Gilbert, what's going on, bud? Just for comparison's sake, saying I love Comfort. He's worth his contract. It's more so far. Yeah, it feels like Brad. We finally have a second line center. So definitely feel pretty good about that acquisition. And then he just furthered and said Comfort with the 19 and 24. And it's felt like it too. It doesn't feel like there's been any cheapies in there.
Jim, is this the Benny and Cop show? I didn't want to talk about Benny. I promise.
But I do want to say, Decoy, welcome, bud. Decoy, I wore this for you, man. Look at it. We got Kane. That's for you, man. For Big Kane Day tomorrow. Cop is to the Red Wings as Kevin Adams was to the NWO. It's hard to even remember him in there when it just went totally off the rails in the last years of WCW, and every single effing wrestler was a part of NWO or the Wolfpack. Jared, you got me on one of these jokes. Where was it? Oh, it's Decoy. Decoy, my apologies. I'm colorblind and I mixed up the colors. But he said defund the cops.
Oh yeah, I did see that. That was pretty good. That was an A+. Look, guys, and I think what's funny too is Prashant actually got bullied enough online. It looked like that he had to like put out an asterisk and say, "Look, this has nothing to do with him as a person," which is hilarious. That he got bullied enough, I guess, online to like
it's not like
have to explain himself.
This guy sucks. He literally gave us like 5 or 6 resources of actual like crunchy data to be like, oh. Yeah, maybe we could be better here. So I feel bad that Prashant got bullied. I wish he didn't feel the need to take it down because I think it can be said.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like some responsibility here to like go and I'll do some research here, and based on the minutes played, like let me see if there's something that can defend this here, because is he giving up? When he's on the ice, when he's playing defense, is it like, all right, no high danger chances on ice? Maybe I'm missing that. I don't know. But I can tell you from what I see on the ice, I see a game that is replaceable. Myself. And the chart here on the left actually states there's only 5 other guys in the league that you wouldn't want to replace Andrew Kopp with. So I think this started because I was like, hey, at first, like I was defending myself, but if I tried to look at this with a level head, I think it just comes back to the same Ben Sherratt, like sort of like stamp. If there isn't spots that this team can be upgraded, then I guess we're winning the Stanley Cup, Mike. But I definitely think there are spots this team can be upgraded. I don't see a perfect team. I see a team that is hella fun to watch, can score like crazy when the timing's right. One of the slides we didn't go over today is like what we do in wins and how great our expected goals for percentage is when we're popping off. So of course our success, basically my argument was our success comes from not what we're limiting, but what we're throwing at the net. And it's the same, like the power play is insane. The expected goals for numbers are just night and day when we do win and when we lose. Just unbelievable. And what we're trying to figure out here is, are you going to be taking away offense and adding more defense, and we want to rely on a guy that by the numbers, is it successful to say for what his job is, he's been perfect at it? I guess I'm going to bite my tongue on what my opinion is there. But I hope you guys don't look at this team And like what I saw Dan throwing in there was, let's complain about Alex DeBrincat. Just I'm just gonna leave that there because I don't get it. I don't understand where Dan's coming from
I
on.
think that it almost goes hand in hand with what you're saying, right? That it's, we're not perfect. And it definitely feels like he slowed down a little bit. I think the most interesting ideas is that, we're even discussing this is because we're on the cusp of being a buyer, and to really be a buyer, you need cap space to do it. And this is definitely a gigantic bullseye of how you can make some money. Available would be packaging this guy with valuable draft picks and, some Red Wing prospects. So this guy is kind of the building block for, well, obviously we want to give you something of value. That's where draft equity, that's where, young guys under club control come into play, but we got to make the money work. So I think maybe with this comment, maybe that's the one spot where I'd pause a little bit from like dropping him and trying to see if that contract can make, an expensive contract work.
Yeah, I think everybody knows. Like, I'd be full of shit if I was like, look, guys, Andrew Copp's my favorite player. I'm just trying to think about this logically. Everyone knows I'm full of shit if I say that. But my hope here is that with the likes of Prashant Iyer finally coming around, coming to my side, to the evil side, eventually you guys will all come over too. And you'll be like, you know what? I do want to win the Stanley Cup one day.
Oh, Jim Johnson throwing in one of my sweet nothings that I would stare at and make eyes at on the free agency list. Hurdle the Turtle. Oh, I wanted him so bad. But Matt, we are at an hour at 11 today. And tomorrow is going to be so goddamn fun. I can't wait. I hope you guys are in a spot where you're maybe not at a bar because they might have other things going on. I hope you're in a spot where you can actually hear the Red Wing fans at LCA, because it's going to be electric tomorrow for Kane. And Lalone, dude, if you know anything about getting a crowd going, you got to let this guy be on the first shift. Just let him start the game, and that crowd's going to be so loud they're going to be putting cracks in the ice. I can't wait.
Yeah, I wish we'd spent a whole episode doing that, but I guess what I wanted to do was like, where do we find the next steps? But you're right. We should sail off into the sunset, guys. I'm sorry I made you so angry, suggesting that we upgrade this team. I apologize. We're good. No trades.
You're still being sarcastic, man. All right. Just
I
pretend
apologize,
Matt
guys.
is not here for
Team's
30
perfect.
seconds.
You're right.
Oh, he's still doing it.
Stanley Cup, here we come. Sorry, guys.
Stop.
I apologize. There's no way to upgrade this team. It's already perfect.
He won't stop. Look at him. All right. Let's get excited for Kane.
Join the Discord.
Tomorrow is Happy Kane Day. I hope you guys, again, crank up that volume tomorrow. Showtime, says Clamp Sauce. Lark Showtime starting line tomorrow night. Bucket. I don't know about that. I think he's going to be second line. But we'll see. And I hope the Sharks take a lot of penalties so we can see that sexy, sexy power play, man. I can't wait.
Woo! Real quick, this will be a tease, so you guys want to join the Discord. Dan, let's talk out a bet, because I want to figure out what we could do, because I need to get you like a half and half. I want to get you a Ben Sherratt, Andrew Copp jersey as like I want to give you an opportunity to win one. So just hit me up. Let's talk it out on Discord. I might go to bed right now because I'm really tired, but we'll definitely be on the Discord tomorrow, Dan Bergeron, and we'll figure out. And you guys, everybody who's listening, come out to the Discord. Help us figure out how Dan can try and win a Sherratt Andrew Copp jersey. And I just, he earns it. He's got to earn. He doesn't earn it. Oh my God, that was so dumb.
Before we
he deserves it.
Ketzel was reminding us, Lalone seemed to suggest that they're going to be rotating centers tomorrow to see who gets the best, gels the best between DeBrincat and Kane. And Decoy, I think you were reacting to something else, but I really like the idea of them trying Sherratt at center between DeBrincat and Kane to really shore up the strength on that second power play unit. I can't wait.
Oh, I know. Well, the when are we facing each other next on fantasy hockey? If you win,
Matt will trade you his best player.
yeah, I'll trade you my best player.
Yeah,
all right.
You heard it here, folks. It's on tape. Jared, save this clip. We're at minute 14 and 30 seconds. Matt is giving away his best player when he loses to Dan. Yes.
All right. See you guys later.
All right, bye.